So I know it's kind of a documentary, was how it's conceived, but was there ever anything in your mind thinking maybe this could be a narrative feature or something? Or
No, never. Yeah. No, it was never the brief, but also sport is really hard to do in fiction films. I don't think it works generally. And great sport, when it happens, if you put that in a movie, no one would believe you. And so the key thing here was, there are so many moments which are unbelievable and also you wouldn't have Senna, you'd have an actor playing him, you'd have to fake all the driving, so it was never a consideration. It was just much more of, this can be like the best drama, but it's all real, and that's even better, so it felt like it was much more interesting to do it this way.
There's also no talking heads as well. You use kind of audio interviews under the footage. Was that like a very deliberate ploy to kind of keep it moving and stuff and make it...
Absolutely, yeah. It was one of my gut instincts from very early on, was that because of the nature of Senna's fame, everything was covered on camera. He was so huge in Brazil, he was so big in Japan, he was in a sport where there's a camera while he's at work, while he's driving, there's a camera right on his shoulder. And so it just felt like, well, why do we need to cut away? Why do we need to cut to a guy with a a nice lampshade and a plant on one, or his bookcase behind him? And for me, it just kills the drama. It takes away all attention. Let's stay in the moment with these two guys and watch this guy growing up and see him becoming this huge star, and see that final weekend in the awkwardness and the intensity of it, without anybody telling us, well, this is what he's thinking. Actually, let Senna speak for himself. He's much more eloquent than anyone else, could be for him. So it felt like the right way to do it. And it was an instinct. It was tough because When We Were Kings has Norman Mailer, Touching the Void has interviews, One Day in September has interviews, Man on Wire has interviews. My key argument was, but we don't have Senna. So if I don't have my main character, it's not the same as these other films often. So that was the reason why I really pushed hard to not put them in. And it was a challenge, but in the end, I think it's what almost makes the film more original for it.
The sort of rivalry as well with Proust is kind of fascinating, how they when they're on the same team, they just hated each other almost, and apart they kind of reconciled. So I mean, how interesting was that to you? Was that, and it kind of, did you want to make that kind of a very big driving part of the film?
I mean, yeah, Senna and Prost as a sporting rivalry is up there with Ali, Fraser, Borg, McEnroe. It's one of those two geniuses in the sport at the same time, in the same team, which is very unusual. But also what was interesting is culturally they were so different. Their ways of driving were so different. One of them was like the passionate guy that's got to be at the front, got to be the fastest, got to be winning, Senna. And then Prost was, I don't mind coming fifth, because I know I've got enough points, I've worked it all out, I'll still win the title. And just that meeting of styles and clashes is what makes good drama, I suppose. So, sporting wise, we had this amazing series of climaxes that climaxed in crashes between them. But it's also what they would say about each other off camera, on camera but off the track, which made you think, well, actually we can make this could be the heart of the movie in a way.
You mentioned as well there was so much footage you had as well. Is there any chance we can see maybe a huge kind of 5-hour version of this, or an extended one?
Do you know, there's going to be a bootleg somewhere. No, there's not. My gut feeling is, if the film does well enough, one day we'll be able to put out a longer version, but it will mean going back to renegotiate with Benny Ecclestone and doing all these sorts of things. But so many people have said, I want to see a longer cut, and I just hope that somehow one day we'll be able to show it. I mean, technically it won't be the same as a finished movie, but there are so many great moments we couldn't squeeze in. And he makes the story much deeper and much more emotional, actually. There's a lot more funny moments, there are a lot more sad moments, so many things happened in his career. He packed it all in, and it's such a young life, such a short life he had to.